Welcome everyone. Myself, Dr. Rakesh Agrawal, Secretary General, Risk Management Association of India. So our today's session is on climate risk and ESG. So when COVID-19 came, we all thought that COVID is a great disruptor as the whole world came to a standstill. But believe me, climate risk is going to be much bigger disruptor than COVID. So its impact would be phenomenal, and we must take this risk seriously and commit suitable resources and commitment to fight this menace. And to help us, ESG is going to play a major role in shaping the future outlook of in this space. So for today's session, we have Mr. Arup Dasgupta as the speaker. So before I hand over the session to Mr. Dasgupta, I'll just like to give a brief introduction about our association. So though many would be our member of Risk Management Association, still at the cost of repetition, I will just share a brief intro of our body. So basically, RMAI is a global body dedicated to research and development on risk management. So during the last 2-3 years post-COVID, risk management has drawn a lot of traction, and companies, and regulators are understanding the importance of risk management. So many regulators like SEBI, RBI, and insurance regulator also they are coming out with guidelines on how to have a dedicated risk management department and how to promote this risk management culture in companies. So basically, this association was founded in the year 1992. So the idea was to create a common platform for all stakeholders, risk professionals, insurers, bankers, corporates, so that they can have a common platform to exchange views, identify trends. And the idea of RMAI was to collaborate with professional and academic organizations around the world so that we can share the developments being done at their place. So our body is governed by a governing council and supported by a advisory council and council for risk management experts from different fields. So basically, we are into research and development, as I said earlier. Then we have launched number of courses on risk management. So we have online courses, offline courses, and we regularly conduct seminars and webinars. And almost every month we conduct fortnightly webinars on different topics. We publish a quarterly bulletin also. And last year we held one technical paper writing contest. So very soon we would be launching a contest for this year too. And we have collaborated with number of bodies across the world. I'll just share that also. This is just list of webinars conducted by us. This is the institute that we have tied up with. We are trying to promote risk management in neighboring countries, Dhaka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Middle East. So just to give a brief introduction of our today's speaker, Mr. Dasgupta. So Mr. Arup Dasgupta is a veteran of insurance industry since last 33 years. He was the Chief Executive Officer of LIC Bangladesh. He was also the Regional Manager of Eastern India, both for marketing and housing finance arm of LIC. So he is a fellow member of Insurance Institute of India and Institute of Cost Management Accountants of India. He is also MBA in Consultancy Management from BITS Pilani, and he has several project reports to his credit. So I would now request Mr. Arup Dasgupta to take over, and we will have this session, and at the end we can have a brief question and answer. So if you have any questions, you can keep it with you, and in the end you can ask. So over to Mr. Dasgupta.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh Agrawal. Once again, good afternoon to all. I am grateful to Risk Management Association of India and Dr. Agrawal in particular for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. And the topic chosen is very relevant and challenging, as told by Agarwal sir. It is gradually becoming a biggest challenge for all of us. Let us share my screen. I think screen is visible to all of you.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. The topic is ESG and climate risk. ESG is basically three pillars which are affecting us. That is environment risk, social risk, and governance risk. And in fact, it is a risk which is affecting us both personally as well as professionally, both in domestic front as well as on international front. So certainly I will explain in very simple terms in details. Pillars of ESG: environment, social, and governance. Let us examine the climate risk. Global warming. Every year, the average temperature of the Earth is being increased by 2 degrees centigrade. So this increasing world temperature is a threat to the living creatures on the planet. Then there is greenhouse emission of methane gas or carbon dioxide due to pollution from cars, factories. Fossil fuel versus renewable energy. Fossil fuel, we are using coal, we are using oil or some other types. But gradually we have to cut it down, and renewable energy we have to use more. Still, the production cost of renewable energy is quite high, but it is gradually coming down. Deforestation. Out of 198 countries, 191 countries occupy 91% of the forest area. And deforestation is still going on. And then again, due to global warming, the sea level is rising. The risk ingredients. Risk is generally perceived as a future event. It will happen with us in future. That is the common perception. It is a threat to our existence. It causes loss. It has its own impact. With a certain frequency, it happens to us. There is always a probability of occurrence. It may happen, it may not happen. It may happen with certain degree. And it affects our objective also. And there are some risks which may happen favorably also. But generally it is adverse. Now, this India is playing a leading role, especially through G20, for managing this climate risk. And some decisions are taken. COP26, COP27, that is, it happened in Glasgow. Before that, it took place in Warsaw, in Middle East also. That steps should be taken to keep the temperature rise per year to the tune of 1.5 degrees centigrade. And whatever energy we are using, we have taken a target that 50% of the energy will be used tapping our renewable energy sources by 2030. We have to gradually phase out the fossil fuels, that is use of oil or use of coals. Coal to clean power by 2040, that is the target. To end deforestation by 2030, a single tree will not be cut. 30% cut in methane emission. Methane contribute 30% of our greenhouse emission. It is the largest contributor of greenhouse emission. And there is a mistake to reach net zero emission by 2070 internationally. Why the ESG risk has assumed so much of importance? The very existence of the planet is threatened. You know, if global warming takes place at the rate of 2 degrees centigrade per year, what will happen to our existence and to animal kingdom also? It is mentioned in Companies Act also, 2013. Section 149, the role, responsibilities, functions of independent directors are clearly defined. It is clearly defined for corporate governance. Profit or revenue generation is the ultimate criterion for stakeholders of the company, and it is the role of independent directors also. And independent directors will be very much involved in key personal appointment also, so that artisan rate can go down and the expenditure will go down. SEBI has issued guidelines, and above all, there is business responsibility and sustainability reporting also. And it is very much applicable for top 1,000 companies in Indian scenario. Top 1,000 listed companies have to submit their business responsibilities and sustainability reporting to SEBI. This is how to drive ESG excellence. It is a circle. We have to manage the ESG risk and opportunities. We have to communicate effectively to all, to stakeholders, to employees, to the board, to the senior management. We have to need our stakeholders' needs also. How to convert from cost center to profit center. Already I have told that revenue generation and profit maximization, wealth maximization is the ultimate target of a company. So investor relationship maintenance, effective risk management system should be there, above all cost reduction. ESG integration into business. You know, ESG risk is a part of business risk. So value should be enhanced, and we should have access to new markets. New markets are to be created. Niche market are to be created. How to address the ESG issues? Board participation should be there. Board should be deeply involved. And as per the provision of Companies Act 2013, risk management policy is to be clearly defined. Risk management committee must be there, and the senior leadership should be involved, and all layers should be involved in their own capacity in ESG issues. Support from top leadership is very much required. Without the support of top leadership, without the involvement of top leadership, ESG risk management cannot be make a success. Determination of resources required. Manpower, human talent will be required. Other resources will be required. Financial capital will be required. We have to analyze the cost and benefits. What we will spend and what we will get in managing the risk. Data collection is very much required, as well as we have to define the matrices. What data we will maintain, what registers we have to maintain, and communication with stakeholders should take place at regular intervals. For any corporation enterprise, they should understand the ESG situation. At the same time, role of the third parties. It happens in supply chain management. How vendors are supplying. Okay. We know the Porter's 5-point principle. The power of the supplier, power of the buyer, power of the competitor, and competition in the industry itself. Risk assessment is to be done. Benchmark performance against competitor and against the industry is to be judged. Industry we can understand very well. Any industry, manufacturing, service sector, insurance sector, banking. So industry average we can compare with our performance, with our achievements. But for marking the competitors' benchmark and comparing with those with the domestic company, 5 to 7 specific competitors are to be selected, and their benchmark are to be compared with our benchmark. That is generally the system generally companies are following. Identification of short and long-term actions. Some actions will be short-term, some actions will be long-term. So that is to be taken care, and there is always will be risk-return trade-off, investment versus risk trade-off. What amount we can invest and what benefits we will derive out of that. Development of strategies. Specific goals are to be designed. Key performance indexes should be there. Business planning, timelines and milestones, clear accountability. All levels are to be clearly accountable for risk management, for climate risk management. Specific responsibility should be there. Responsibility of the CFO, responsibility of the CEO. So level specific risk and responsibilities are to be matched. And above all, change management. Sustainability reporting. The first point is tracking the progress. We are investing money, progress is being taken place. We are taking care of our human capital. We are taking care of our talent. But progress is to be tracked, whether it is as per our expectation, whether it is as per the required growth rate. So that is to be taken care. Quantitative metrics. For benchmarking, certain benchmarks are to be determined. Risk register is to be maintained and certain other registers also. And these matrices are to be clearly defined. And disclosure, this is as per sustainability reporting, qualitative disclosures. What impact is being created, especially in social sector. I have taken certain measures for risk management, for climate risk, for ESG, whether it is creating any impact in the lives of employees, in the society, and as well as in the corporate sector. Benchmark performance, I have already told. And above all, the progress is to be consolidated in a single document. It should not be pages after pages. It should be clearly visible on a single piece of paper, whether development is taking place, whether growth is taking place. Principles of BSRP. Business should conduct and govern themselves with integrity and in a manner that is ethical, transparent, and accountable. Business should provide goods and services in a manner that is sustainable and safe. Business should respect and promote the well-being of employees, including those in their value chain. Business should respect the interest of and be responsive to all its shareholders. Business should respect and promote human rights. Business should respect and make efforts to protect and restore the environment. Very much important. In fact, we are having only one home, that is our planet. So the very survival of the planet is at danger. So that is to be taken care. Business, when engaging in influencing public and regulatory policy, should do in a responsible and transparent manner. Total transparency should be there. There should not be any hush-hush. There should not be any secrecy. Business should promote equitable development and inclusive growth. The benefits of development should reach every layer of the society to the last mile corner. Business should engage with and provide value to its customer in a responsible manner. This is climate risk, climate change, and world environment. Environment risk comes under it: climate risk, greenhouse emissions, carbon footprint, water, soil, and air pollution, and lives above water and lives below water. Both are important. Aquatic animals are equally important. Waste and waste management, both in corporate sector, on domestic front, in big apartment houses. Now 4 or 2 bins with different colors, red color, green color, yellow color. 4 bins are placed to take care of different types of waste: liquid waste, solid waste, plastics, everything. Use of toxic chemicals should be totally avoided, and deforestation must be stopped totally by 2030. Effects of operation on biodiversity. To limit global warming, carbon dioxide use is to be reduced. Climate change care is to be taken. We are committed to Paris Agreement to lower the carbon dioxide level. This is social risk, and social risk, though still it is a neglected part. Big cleans in India, in rural India. Payment equity is not there. Female laborers get less. Even national cricket scenario, female cricketers get less. Lawn tennis international circuit, female players get less. So now there is growing demand that there should be equity in the payment. Inequalities in workplace, whether we have been able to create congenial atmosphere at our workplaces for female employees, even for specially able employees, whether we are maintaining congenial atmosphere for employee relations, whether employee benefits are clearly defined and they are reaching. Perception is a factor. Corporation is thinking that, okay, I have done so many things. Employee is thinking that corporation is not doing anything for us. So there is a gap between the two. Employee health and safety, utmost important, especially in manufacturing sector. Employee working condition, mining, we know very well. And above all, human rights. This is ESG factors: environmental, climate change, natural resources, pollution and waste management, biodiversity. Even in cities, we are building big apartments, and whatever water or ponds were there, now all are filled up. Social, human rights, supply chain standards, labor management, health and safety, human capital, talent management basically, and development of employees, governance, corporate governance, corruption and instability, executive pay. There is anomaly in executive pay also, even in some MNCs. Board diversity should be there. In Companies Act 2013, women director provision is there. At least there should be one woman director, and it is a must for all listed companies. And still there are so many listed companies who are not having woman director, and business ethics there. Governance risk, political contribution, a big factor. Lobbying. In advanced country, lobbying is allowed. In our country, it is not. So it is to be decided whether lobbying should be allowed ethically or it's always will be a clandestine manner. Operational policies and standards, controls for corruption and ethics. SEBI is very vigilant. Tax avoidance cases are still there. You know, recently CBDT has identified so many tax avoidance cases, and especially for GST also. Board management of regulatory, legal and reputational risk. Reputational risk is also a very important factor. You know what can happen. This Nestle affair some years back, Maggie brand, the entire shelf of Maggie packets were taken out from the shelves of the departmental stores just because of reputational risk. Risk management, define materiality, sustainability accounting, and UN SDG, sustainability development goals. 17 goals are there. I will touch that later on. Specific matrices to benchmark. Benchmark your supply chain. If your supply chain is broken, then there may be a devastation in the enterprise. Monitor changes in the policy. Consider market perception. Market perception, one example I can give. This British Petroleum, all of a sudden they changed the color of the logo. they brought green color to their logo. Green is environment friendly, and they started using the picture of sun in their logo. And when they redesigned their logo, that time only they are leaking oil in the Gulf of Mexico through their ships. As that oil leaking took place, so immediately they changed the color of the logo. So such things take place. Plastic use. Pepsi and Coke, two big companies, largest consumer of plastic in the world. These coffee producers, they produce the bean in Venezuela, in Ghana, and in Costa Rica. And 60% of the labor are child labor. They are doing so many things on CSR issues. Corporate social responsibility, they are managing very well. But at the same time, in agricultural field, they are using child labor like anything. And very sorry to say, most of the big MNCs, they are involved in greenwashing. They are proclaiming something, some benefits they are extending to the society. On the other hand, they are adopting so many menaces to manage their business.
Mr. Dasgupta, we are unable to hear you. Please unmute yourself.
It has been muted just now or for very long?
Yeah, now it is fine. Now it is fine.
Okay. No, never. Some points we have to escape. Some points we should avoid. Excessive focus on ratings. ESG rating is there. It is designed by SEBI. It is on certain factors. Like there is a company. Certain factors are there which are to be taken care. And there is gradation. Top grade is leadership. Next one is very well maintained. Third one is average. And below that, below average. And last one is poor. So above these 5 or 6 levels of rating, ESG rating, 80% companies are average or below average. And what is happening? That 20% company who are above average, they are also giving excess focus of the rating. They are taking care of the rating, but they are not taking care of the achievement in spirit. So what is happening? Benefits are not reaching to the society. Benefits are not reaching to the employee. Benefits are not reaching to the stakeholders. And at the same time, the ESG risk management is totally neglected. ESG should be treated not only as a communication effort, but it is to be a whole circle. Lack of involvement of board and lack of involvement of senior level management. Risk management committee meeting takes place. Committee submits its report to the board, but the suggestions are not implemented. That is another point. Disconnect from the business strategy. Business strategy is one thing on one side and other things are totally neglected. Compliance oriented approach, sometimes we follow management of ESG risks only for the sake of compliance. Whether these points we are maintaining or not, that's all. Whether we are maintaining the registers, whether we are submitting the reports in time, all these things are we are taking care. But what is being generated, the level of impact, that is neglected. Lack of assessment and monitoring. Prominent ESG failures. Volkswagen, you know very well, they called back a large number of their cars because of emission problems from their engine. And you just see a company like Volkswagen, who is market leader in car industry, they neglected their emission norms and for their high-end cars. That took place, that happened. Gulf of Mexico oil spill by British Petroleum, already I have told. Walmart, the biggest business enterprise in the world, unethical activity. What unethical activity? Randomly they are using child labor in African market. This is greenhouse effect. All of us know. I am not going to detail. Methane emission, nitrogen emission, carbon dioxide, oil, coal, everything we are using randomly, and there is no check till date. Very important part, greenwashing. Summits are happening, meetings are happening, regulation is well designed, regulator body is there, ESG reporting format is there, but everything is being washed. Okay. No environmental benefit is generated. Companies are submitting false information, misleading information. Marketing hype is there. We have done this, we have done that. PR spin is there. All false promises. We have taken so many promises by 2030. Very difficult to say actually what we will achieve on international front. Very difficult to say. And you know, there is another type of risk I want to discuss. Very important. It has assumed importance like anything. That is geopolitical risk. Geopolitical risk, there are so many examples. Just you see this Russia-Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine war has disbalanced the whole world, especially the oil supply and export-import of so many countries. Even rice production, food supply is not proper. So it is a very glaring example of geopolitical risk. Again, the relationship between China and USA. USA has put a stop to the import of certain products, or they have imposed tariff on Chinese products. And in retaliation, China has adopted so many steps. So again, some companies, even some big USA companies, they could not visualize that certainly the government, their own government will take some decisions in international market which may jeopardize their existence. And so many big USA companies are facing problem in the market of China. And you know, there are green bonds and other things. Green investment, that is sustainable investment. We will not invest in coal industry, we will not invest in oil industry. Instead, we will invest in industries which will be sustainable, which will not endanger the very existence of the population or animal kingdom, like renewable energy, like electric vehicle. So, through mutual fund and through alternative investment fund schemes, especially these two types of investment, mutual fund and alternative investment funds, they are the ambassador for this rebranded green investment. But actually, the investment is taking place in green sector or not, that certification is not there. Climate change, extinction in disguise is causes and effects. Industrial emissions are there, deforestation is still continuing, combustion is there. Fertilizer we are using indiscriminately and it is threatening the living creature below the soil as well as our own life. We should invest in environment friendly technologies. Conservation of natural resources should be there, and companies should focus on sustainable practices, the practices which they will be continue for long term. Green investment will play a crucial role in the transition from a low carbon economy to a low carbon economy, combating climate change and promote sustainable development. Green investments can be classified into various categories like renewable energy, energy efficiency and conservation, domestic plant, use of LED lights in our bedroom, sustainable agriculture and forestry, sustainable transport also, electric vehicle buses like Singapore, waste management and recycling of waste. A risk management culture should be developed in the corporation, in the enterprises, and even in the society also. There should be a structured training program. People should understand the common risk language, ESG risk language. Appointment, engagement of ESG experts and ESG champions also, who will shout from the rooftop regarding the measured steps taken. Promoting the benefits, what benefit? The ultimate, the existence, the profitability, sustainability of the enterprises will depend on the management, ESG risk management, on climate risk management. Regular communication to all stakeholders in defined form. Create a language knowledge database and promote consistency. These are sustainable goals. 17 goals are there. No poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, clean energy, decent work and economic growth, infrastructure development, reduced inequality, sustainable cities and communities, smart city concept, Indore, like Surat, like Newtown, responsible consumption and production. We will consume responsibility. That the water we are using, most of the part of the water we drain out. We are not conserving water for our next generation. Our next generation will ask after 30 years, by 2050, water will be the most scarce resource on earth. Our next generation will ask whether we have made any provision for them. Climate action, life below water, life on land, justice, strong institutions. So all these 17 sustainable goals are there. So this, in nutshell, this climate risk and ESG. If any question you want to ask, you can ask. Anything you can tell, that you can tell. In fact, in risk management, climate risk management and ESG, another concept is there: scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. Scope 1 is, it is our own car, it is our own factory, we are emitting pollution. This is scope 1. Scope 2 is, we are using another person's car, or we are using the products of another factory. That is scope 2. And scope 3 is, randomly enterprise or people are generating pollution. That is the thing. So this scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3, we have to keep in mind, and we have to see individually on domestic front to what extent we can minimize the climate risk, we can minimize the ESG risk. And at the same time, on social front also, we have to, in our locality, in the our environment, to what extent we can minimize the risk, and as well as the corporate governance. We have to take care. Green projects are there. So we should invest in green projects only. Risky projects, certainly we should not go far again. Along with green bonds, social bonds are also there. Green loans are there. Banks are now allowing green loans. Bank consortium, 4 or 5 banks together, they are allowing green loans those loans will be invested by the loanee in green sector only. Any comment, any opinion? I invite.
Yeah, if anybody has any question, they can unmute and ask the question.
Any point anyone want to contribute, please?
I think we should also not just wait for the directives of the regulators to act upon this climate risk, because at end of the day, yeah, please, you can unmute. Ms. Jyoti, you can unmute.
To what, to certain extent, regulator has done their role. Okay.
Yeah, they have
Yeah,
done, but we need to follow our responsibility also, because end of the day,
yeah.
we would be responsible for the society, for our business, for the whole ecosystem.
Right. In fact, individually, indiscriminately we are using water. Indiscriminately we are using uh, electricity. That is on individual fund or on domestic fund. Corporate life, again, what best we can do, that we should think, and it should not be ESG risk management or climate risk management for the sake of ratings or for the sake of submitting the reports. Okay, the real benefit should reach the society, and real benefit and impact should be calculated in terms of achievement.
I'll just check if you are unable to unmute. I'll just allow all. Ms. Jyoti, are you able to unmute?
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Can you hear me, sirs?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. See, essentially, from my brief, exposure to the ESG and climate-related matters, uh, it is necessary for every corporate. Yeah, it is necessary for every corporate to understand, to take it as on a life cycle model. That is what the directive is. And through a life cycle perspective, if we take it and we impose the life cycle model into the value chain of the company's operations, then it is possible to address all the issues which are within the purview of the company and those which do not come under the purview of the company. Because otherwise, there is a possibility that we are reducing the risk at one place, but you are transferring the risk onto a different place altogether. For example, if you're going in for electric vehicles as such or electrification, then we would need a huge amount of copper. So the copper mining becomes difficult. It is not in our hands, and also it creates a problem elsewhere. So we are transferring the risk from one place to the other. So that is my only suggestion, which the corporates need to keep in mind. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Very valued point you have raised. This electric vehicle, the challenge has become the manufacturing of batteries, lithium battery, availability of the resource, and then manufacturing of the battery, and then charging of the battery is also a problem. Okay, so very correctly you have said that it is only transfer of from one sector to the other sector. But the thing is, unless we go, it should be a time-bound program. Otherwise, our very existence will be threatened. If we keep on using this fossil fuel indiscriminately for a long period, and this global warming takes place as this space, I don't know what will happen to the existence.
True. Fully agree, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you,
Thank
Mr. Dasgupta. And as you said, also we need to invest a lot in research and development also. What we see, training is the last area where we invest. So we should have this regular sessions, interactions where we said we
क्या
can come
मैं
out with
किसी के साथ प्लान नहीं करना चाहिए 1.5 घंटा दिखा रहा है शी इज स्टिल नॉट कम
I
फोन
request
किया
Mr.
सब किया शी
yeah.
इज नॉट
I
आंसरिंग
request everyone to unmute who are not speaking.
I request Mr. Sushovan Sarkar to say something, to apprise us, to guide us about his opinion.
अनीता
Sir,
कहाँ है
Mr. Sushovan Sarkar.
I think since we do not have any further questions, hopefully Mr. Dasgupta has covered it very well. And thank you, Mr. Dasgupta, for the excellent presentation. And it is not just the end. We can always keep and interact. And if anybody has any questions,
In
they can
fact,
always.
I have just mentioned the preliminary points. I have not
Hmm.
gone into details of any topic
Yes, yes.
because for the first day it is enough, I think.
Yes, yes. So for future, we can have regular interactions. If you have any questions, you can forward it to us, or we can forward it to Mr. Dasgupta for reply. And I think we should have a common platform to discuss these issues. And once we have different opinions, we can voice through our forum to the regulators, to the stakeholders, and they may take some action on it. So thank you, Mr. Dasgupta, for an excellent session, and all participants who joined today from different countries. And hopefully, we will have another session, maybe on a similar topic. And hope to see you again. So thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thank you all. Thank you, Rakesh ji.
Thank you.